reporting on the results of a soccer match that happened yesterday in the Premier League. Aston Villa versus Tottenham. It ended 1-2 in favor of Tottenham. I say it like that because obviously current practice is to say the name of the team who was at home first. Another way of saying this is that Tottenham Hotspur won 2-1 away at Villa Park. Let's go. Anyway, let me share the screen. Just do my last double check. Make sure I'm in the right place. Not a detail press. Well, here I am on Shimuge's comments. Yeah. One second. Let's see. Lift off. Alright, give me 1 second. Kala kanubu chuku kaka. Kala kanubu chuku nuwa. Kala kanubu chuku kaka. Abumo para chuku chuku kaka. Abumo para chuku nkuku. Abumo para uku. Abumo para ngwanguku. Abumo para monekuku kaka. Abumo para guruki kaka. Kala kanu mere ihenuwa. Kala kanu mere ihenuwa. Abumi kengana madioha. Abumi kengakaraki heha. Abumi kengane kesenuwa. Abumi kengamone benu neba. Abumi kengane sansone ba. Sansone ba. Abumi zeneba. Calling it on my past lives. Kabru Namongoha, AKGK. Thank you all who are joining me now and in the future. This is a soccer update. So I just watched the highlights of the game. It happened yesterday. I did look up the result before I watched the highlight video, though, just because I didn't want to watch it with too much suspense. I'll note that. I also want to note this. I have a weird feeling towards Tottenham Hotspur. I prefer Arsenal over them. Arsenal are, of course, regarded as their rivals. Again, though, I do not buy into the practice of calling oneself a fan of a team. And I'll leave it at that. I've explained this before, and I see I've registered viewers. Thank you very much. Nonetheless, I'm partial to Arsenal over Tottenham by a great deal. And I want to note for most of my life, I called myself an Arsenal fan. Anyway, at the same time, I don't like the idea of Tottenham Hotspur getting relegated. So I feel funny about them. At the same time, though, I do like Aston Villa. So I'm not happy they lost. This result makes me feel weird all different ways. Anyway, let me just note what happened. Tottenham Hotspur scored two goals in the first half. First through Conor Gallagher. It was a long shot from outside the box. And then Richarlison. That ended up being the winning goal. Let me read. So that happened within the first 30 minutes. And Tottenham, despite being at the bottom of the table, as in they've done very poorly in the Premier League this season, at least if you're just using the standard of wins and losses in the Premier League irrelevant of context, which again is something I think we need to move away from. Reminder, Tottenham won the Champions League, okay, and they won the Europa League last season. I think results like that still mean something. But anyway, Aston Villa is closer to the top of the table. They were in line to win the title at one point. They've fallen away from that form. They're currently in fifth, but still they've done very well. They're also in Europe. But despite this context, Tottenham really dominated. And it's even more shocking they dominated because they're at Villa Park. In the second half, Villa recovered more, and they managed to pepper Tottenham with shots for about the last 20 minutes at least. But they only got their consolation goal with one of the last kicks of the game. That was in really the 96th minute because they added on 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the second half. So that's really what happened. Let's move. let me just say four things that I thought were notable about the match overall, outside of what I've just told you, although they could be related. One, I think Richarlison stood out again. And again, I'm saying this based off of highlights. I wasn't there at the game, obviously. I'm here in Atlanta. This game took place in Birmingham, England. And, I didn't watch the full game. So we'll see if I study this one more in the future. I'd like to hear from people who watched the full game and even people who were at the game itself. How was it? But anyway, from what I saw, Richarlison stood out again. I haven't really followed discourse on him, but he seems to me to be outperforming his station at Tottenham, and I'll say it like that. And I think him getting the winning goal, indicates that. Two, I think that Emi Martinez's performance needs to be examined because the second goal in particular, but I think I would even argue the first goal came off a goalkeeper mistake. But this is a man who's known to be a good goalkeeper. And when watching him, I just don't feel the mistakes are his fault. So I think we need to examine that performance to get maybe more granular detail about the nature of goalkeeping in soccer today. I think I've said it before. I think some other people have said it, but I haven't heard that much open discourse about this. I think goalkeeping is just off in soccer today. I'm not sure why. Anyway. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. I kinda got it, I kinda got it, I kinda got it, I've been in joke money just a little while. I just take time to sing. Anyway, third, I think that the celebrations of the Tottenham coach were interesting. Um, I don't know. I just found them interesting. I'll just say that. I don't know. There's a lot of conversation about things like coaches leaving the technical area, celebrating on the pitch. Obviously, his team's in a tough position. Obviously, you're going to be happy when your team scores. But it felt odd to me to see. I don't know why. That's something to explore. I'll just say this. Generally speaking, I'm a fan of people who are not playing, not entering the pitch. So if he'd even been running down the touch line, I wouldn't have felt quite as weird. And again, he's not the only one who does this, but the highlight video I watched zoomed in on him celebrating. I think entering the pitch before the game is over is something that shouldn't happen. Anyway, he ate her up. He ate her up. He ate her up. He ate her up. Kala kana kika. Kala kana ibeya. Abu Madio. Abu Madio. Kala kana ibeneba. Kala kana ibeneba. Kala kana ibeneba. Abu Madio and Ibeya. Yes. And then four. So I'm thinking how to articulate this. I think I said it before, but I'll emphasize it again. I think it's one of those games where if you watch it overall, it feels like Aston Villa played better than Tottenham. And I know this is weird because of how Tottenham dominated the first half. But, and again, analyzing one game, I think we have to get rid of this practice of thinking that if you've seen a game once, you understand everything that happened. This game has to be analyzed. But analyzing a game is difficult, but I just get the overall sense that Villa's shots and more importantly, crucial passes before shots didn't meet their mark, even though they were good. So I think Aston Villa was unlucky. Because really, I don't know what it is in modern football, but I just think that for some reason, a lot of times the worst team takes the lead, and for some reason they win. A lot of times they don't. That's kind of why we see these lopsided results a lot. But if you're able to go two up within 30 minutes, I don't see why you're anonymous for the last 20. I don't know. I just, again, this is something we can debate, but I just feel like good teams tend to grow into the game. It is what it is. Anyway. Anyway, because of this result, Villa are in fifth. I know top four goes to the Champions League. I don't remember if this season the fifth place team will go into the Champions League as well in the Premier League. I have to look that up. For context, my base for Champions League qualification is what they used to do from at least say like 2000 to, well, let's say 2006 to about, was that 2020, 2022 maybe, where the top three automatically qualified and then the fourth place team went into a playoff. That's what I remember. I know they've changed the rules. I'm not that old, but I'm an old soul. You know, I'm 28 years old. So some of the extra places kind of miss me. I have to look that up. But Villa, I think they'll be disappointed, but they're still in a good place. And Tottenham are out of the relegation zone. I believe they have three more games to play. So they're above West Ham. It'll be interesting to see who stays in the Premier League. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. I'll give you all a bonus piece of information as well. Go outside when the sun is out. Go outside when the sun is out. It's good for you. And I'll be here until the 17-minute mark, and I'll just repeat the result. But thank you for watching. Kala kanu kari henua, kala kanu kari kaka, kala kanu kari henua, kala kanu kari kaka, kala kanu kari ha, kala kanu kari ha, Mario Hallelujah, Mario ha. I am the God of thunder kaka. I am the God of Wondernoir. I am the God of Amadioha. I am the God of Okikeka. Hala Kanameri Hanua. Hala Kanameri Kaka. Hala Kanameri Haha. 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 Mamadi Hanua. Mamadi Hanua. Mamadiya, Allah Kana Maria, 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 Boom, verily, verily, be Allah Kana Maria, Allah Kana Maria, Abuma Willa Maria, Abuma Willa Kika. Abum Shango no one Kata, Abum Shango Barakaka, Shango no Barizamadio, Shango no Barizamadio, Shango no Barizamadio. I am the Abura and the power of I am the Abura and the power of Kala Kalaka, Kalakana Abumya, Abuma Madio Hanivea, Abuma Madio Hanekea, Ekamadio Abuamadio. Again, this is a soccer update. I finished giving the main part, but I'll just give the result again. Tottenham 2, Aston Villa 1. This took place yesterday at Villa Park in the Premier League. Abuma Madrio Kika, Amadrioha, Madria, Amadrioha, Lua, Ala Kanakari and Lua, Ala Kanamari and Lua, Ala Cabaret and Lua, Abuma Mario and Lua, Abuma Mario and going to 17-minute mark. Ala Kanamari and Lua, Ala Kanamari and Lua, Ala Kanamari and Lua, Ala Kanamari and Lua. Abuma Mario Hanuvea, Abuma Mario Hanuvea, Abuma Mario Hanakua, Allah Kanamari Hanua, Allah Kanamari Hanua, Allah Kanamari Hanua, Allah Kanamari Hanua, Allah Kanamari Hakaka. Abumonie kaka. Abumonie kamadiyo. Aneme yakaneme kama. Abumonie kanuki keka. Abuma Mario honey beya, Abuma Mario honey hey Abuma Mario honey beya, Abuma Mario honey beriba. Abuma san sone ba, san sone bezeka, san sobu bezeka, Abuma san sone bezenua. Abuma wawara we henua, Abuma wawara me henua, Abuma wawara we henua, Abuma we henua. Abu Magui Beregui Hanua. Abu Magui Nakwa Sansoleba. Sansone Bezibu Amadioha. Abu Moniez Amamadioha. I am amazing. How I kind of what they Hanua. How I kind of what they Kaka. How I kind of boy Hamdulillah. How I kind of boy Hamdulillah. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. How I kind of what it is. 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 Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Abu Mamadiyu Hanibeya. Kala kanuri henua, kala kanuri henua, kala kanuri henua. Abu Mamadiyu, kala kanuri henua, kala kanuri henua, kala kanuri henua, kala kanuri henua. Abu Makamadiyu henua, Abu Makamadiyu henua, Abu Makamadiyu henua, Abu Makamadiyu henua, Abu Makamadiyu henua. Abu Makamadiyu haka, kala kana what kala kana what we ha, kala kana what we ha, kala kana what we ha, kala kana what we hear, kala kana what we hear, kala kana what we hear, kala kana what my head. Abu Mamadiyu hamahima, Abu Mamadiyu hamahima, Mamadiyu ha no kika. All right, I'll be out of here. Thank you very much. But once again, the result of this Premier League match was Tottenham Hotspur 2, Aston Villa 1. And this happened at Villa Park yesterday. Thank you very much. Kala kana meri henua. Kala